Good evening to you all. Thank you for joining us for the UBC News tonight, the 8 o'clock edition. My name is Wadulo Arnold Mark, and Dorothy Namuyomba is on sign language. In tonight's headlines, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni urged households to embrace wealth creation through small enterprises, and Parliament proposes that government recognizes sickle cell disease as a non-communicable disease, and UPDF Engineering Brigade urges units to execute assigned projects with professionalism. And in health experts appealed to institutions on promotion of HIV prevention and reducing stigma.
After the anthem, we'll have it. Thank you very much. And showing that you can serve in government, retire, come home, and integrate properly with the community. In the previous regimes, many of our children who served in those governments did not retire. We all know the stories.
Justice Wadulo, as a lawyer then, pursued peace talks with Joseph Kony in Juba and Garamba, and he tried his best as a lawyer to appeal to the senses of that Joseph Kony.
What has always stood out is your unwavering belief that justice must serve the people. During your tenure as Chief Justice, you consistently reminded us that for the citizens they serve. That philosophy guided many of the reforms and the initiatives that strengthened the administration of justice in Uganda.
As I speak today, you and the Acholi people have what we call in the law of contract, consensus ad idem, a meeting of the mind. Now you speak from one side. You do not speak from across the aisle. You're not speaking from one side. The evidence was the recently concluded elections. You're now speaking from one side. Your task is a lot easier now when you sell your idea, your economic development model, when you engage with the leadership of this place. Your task is a lot easier now. You now do not have to explain yourself that you mean well. In voting for you, they're saying, we know you mean well. Nobody votes for someone they think does not mean well for them.
During the time I have worked with him, I have seen, I can give testimony that I saw at least 3 qualities. First one is that I have not heard any story of personal corruption in the judiciary. I normally get stories. There is still corruption in the judiciary, but I have never heard his name being associated with any of them. Secondly, he's one of the people who played a good role in Uganda and Acholi. Some people in Acholi advocated for war against the NRM. But when I met his lordship, Owinidoro, he told me his personal story. If Owinidoro remembers, he told me that when people were mobilizing to go and fight, he told them that these people you are fighting are a different type of people you will not manage. So therefore, because of the discipline, but also the level of education and so on, Owinidoro could see that these people who are trying to fight NRA were not going to succeed. The third one is alternative justice, the one they were talking about.
In that story, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was praising the outgoing Chief Justice Alfonso Wadulo for service to the country, describing him as a leader who upheld integrity, strengthening the judiciary and promoting reconciliation in northern Uganda. Moving on, health experts have also called on religious leaders, cultural institutions, educational institutions, and community leaders to play a stronger role in promoting responsible behavior, HIV prevention, and reducing stigma. The remarks were made by the Canon Dr. Ruth Senyonyi, the chairperson of the Uganda AIDS Commission, during a press conference held in Mbarara City.
According to the Presidential Fast Track Report 2025 on HIV and AIDS, the number of new infections in Uganda is drastically increasing. In the Ankole sub-region, Chiruhura district is leading with an infection rate of 11%, followed by Mbarara City at 10%.
The prevalence in the nation of Uganda is 4.9%. So when we say that Chiruhura is at 11%, that is very high. Mbarara City 10%, that is very high. Way above the average of the nation.
The board of the Uganda AIDS Commission conducted an oversight field visit in Ankole region, covering Mbarara City, Mbarara District, Rwampara District, Chiruhura District, and Isingiro District. The visit aimed at engaging leaders, health workers, and young people to review the implementation of HIV prevention, treatment, and care services in the region.
We note, however, that there are several social and cultural factors that continue to influence HIV transmission, including harmful cultural practices. We found that there were some practices here in this region that are not very good in terms of HIV.
Among the key observations was that Uganda has made progress and remains on track to end AIDS as a public health threat by 2030. However, officials noted that prevention services in some areas are still facing challenges.
The board observed that Uganda had made significant progress in expanding HIV treatment and care services, and many of the health centers we visited and facilities are providing the integrated HIV services through the primary care system. We applaud the health fraternity that despite growing complacency among communities, with some people believing that HIV is no longer a serious public health threat, they continue to work with limited resources.
Ruth Senyonyi further called upon political leaders, religious leaders, and cultural institutions and community leaders to strengthen their collaboration in the fight against HIV and AIDS.
So we therefore call upon religious leaders, cultural institutions, educational institutions, and community leaders to play a stronger role in promoting responsible behavior, HIV prevention, and reduction of stigma. We were particularly encouraged by the commitment of the Bishop of North Ankole Diocese to integrate HIV prevention messages into church activities and pastoral visits. He promised that he's going to tell his people.
Dorcas Twinabuitu, the AIDS focal person for Mbarara City, says many health facilities are understaffed, which delays service delivery.
People who are at risk of getting HIV, the prevalence there is very high. Yes, mostly with the sex workers, 1 out of 2. That is from Mbarara City. The prevalence is above 50. Yes, so that is why I say Mbarara people, we have to check our behavior.
Nelson Musoba, the Director General of Uganda AIDS Commission, says the rising numbers remain a concern and require collective action.
More men are dying of AIDS-related conditions compared to the women, and again because of their health-seeking behavior. If you look at Mbarara City, if you go to Masaka, Kampala, of course, Mbale, Soroti, those, and one of the risk factors is rural-urban migration.
Police in Kisoro district have arrested 3 police officers in connection with the fatal shooting of a resident in an incident that has shocked the local community. The officers allegedly fired more than 15 rounds of bullets during the incident, leaving Hassan Mwijuke dead at the scene.
It's an intention to kill, which means maybe they had another motive.
Police in Kisoro have arrested 3 of their own over the suspected killing of Hassan Mwijuke, a resident of Fafurinzo village in Nyarubuye parish. The suspects have been identified as Police Constable Okedu Mohammed, 25, attached to the ICT department at Ntungamo Police.
For him, when he came, he reported his presence at the counter, but he did not reach out to us to inform us that probably he is here for such and such a task.
Corporal Partizan Niyonzime and Gerald Abisinguza, both attached to Kisoro Police Station. They are accused of shooting Mwijuke in the early hours of March 12, 2026 in the compound of Gansave Pentecostal Church along the Kisoro-Bunagana Highway in Gansave Village, Nyachinama Sub-County.
I'm confirming the arrest of one of our own who is allegedly involved in the shooting. He is in custody to help us in our investigations.
District Police Commander Cosma said that to confirm the arrests and said investigations have been launched to establish the circumstances that led to the fatal shooting. He had to condemn the incident and assure the public that the suspects are in custody as police continue gathering evidence.
He came here for an operation, but he booked his presence. And yet in his important, he's supposed to come and tell us that I am here for such and such, so that at the end of the day we give him also a backup. You get the point?
Witnesses, including the pastor of Gansave Pentecostal Church, Evarist Tuyansinte, said they heard several gunshots at around 3 a.m. before discovering Mwijuke lying dead near a house within the church compound. The victim's father said he rushed to the scene after hearing the gunshots and later realized that the deceased was his son. Local leaders, including the LT1 chairperson of the village, Maximo Bamoremirie, condemned the shooting and called for a thorough investigation into the conduct of the officers involved. Meanwhile, police are also investigating the death of an unidentified man reportedly killed by residents over alleged theft in Nyagesenyi village, Nyarundiza parish.
bakareba nabo mu cyaro ndetse bakaba mushakisha ko nukuvuga ngo ko bari bamuzi bari kumushakisha bakamubona bakamufata ariko batamwishe.
Habaye ejo isaha 7 bantese nguzi kibanga iki umusaza wangakoze iki ngarapfe bamwicisha iki amasasi kibaza umwana waje akaza kumbaramira akambya piki ni yanje ati ndi kwisana ngiye gukorera iyo nakoreraga kandi bamwiciye iki.
Local leaders have warned residents against mob justice and urged them to report suspected criminals to authorities instead of taking the law into their own hands.
Police officer handling, when he comes to Kisoro district, he first reports to Central Police Kisoro. Then they give him a go-ahead to follow whatever he's looking for. So if he didn't report there, then that's a problem.
In more news, Parliament has proposed that government recognizes sickle cell disease as part of the non-communicable diseases. The House believes that sickle cell disease needs urgent public health intervention. Bugiri Municipality MP Asuman Basalirwa brought the attention to the House, which unanimously agreed to pass the resolution.
The social media influencer Timothy Kayanja, alternatively known as Jaden, recently publicly announced his ill health situation after battling with sickle cell disease for some time.
So I had someone
Earlier this year, Jaden was recorded calling out for support from volunteers to aid his treatment abroad after doctors warned of potential loss of life.
Yes, I'm not doing this thing for my own.
The Ministry of Health Annual Report Sector Performance Report for 2022-2023 shows that hospital admissions of sickle cell patients increased by 28%.
And in most cases, these cases go to government hospitals. So for us in the private sector, you'll find that the numbers are significantly low. But when you have dedicated centers, within countries that are dedicated to this condition, the numbers, you'll be able to see the numbers. For example, the sickle cell clinic in Mulago will register significant numbers simply because it is the national referral center where everyone around the country basically goes in case they have sickle cell challenges.
It seems millions of Ugandans are silently battling the disease, which has grave psychological and economic consequences to the family.
Because as the doctors explained, for someone to have this disease, both parents must get the gene. They must get the gene from both parents. But also now we're advocating for parents when they deliver to have the check for sickle cell as soon as before they actually leave the hospital after delivery.
Bugiri Municipality Member of Parliament Asman Basalirwa brought their attention to the August House.
You require between 300 million to 1 billion to travel abroad, especially to India, for this treatment. For the burden on us, even as MPs, is enormous, arising out of this disease. Madam Speaker, there is increasing stigmatization of the affected persons and increasing domestic violence, especially among women and children.
MP Basalirwa told the House to recommend that government recognizes sickle cell disease as part of the non-communicable diseases.
We can no longer afford to treat it casually. We need structured programming, dedicated funding, and a national focus on this disease.
The motion was supported by majority of MPs.
We want also to descend down into the schools, because this is where education is more important, right, Honorable Speaker? Because the boys and girls may not wait until they are educated by a radio or TV or through any other thing, because they will start their sex action while they are young.
Research shows that at least 20,000 babies are born with sickle cell disease annually, and approximately 6,000 children die before their 5th birthday due to lack of early diagnosis and inadequate access to comprehensive care.
Government is also trying its best to ensure availability of essential medicine, just like Honorable Ayume alluded to that fact. We are also encouraging public-private partnerships. There are a number of organizations that are moving into the countryside to complement the efforts of government in sensitizing our local communities on the presence of sickle cell disease.
Some MPs push that the testing for the disease becomes part of the legal procedures for marriage.
Sickle cell is not only about the budget, it's about behavior change. So if two adults can say we are not going to get married, we are carriers of the trait, then we can wipe out sickle cell disease. JCRC is doing heavy research in what we call gene editing, where we are trying to see if we can delete the sickle cell gene, which is very prominent among blacks.
Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
Health concern that requires...
So, Muchara.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. Huh? For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later. Huh?
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get Momo goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
It's back, bigger and with more business opportunities. It's the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo Poate 2026, Uganda's flagship tourism event. Poate 2026 will take place from the 21st to the 23rd of May 2026 at the Speak Resort Convention Center, Munyonyo, under the theme Wanderlust. It's your time to thrive. Yes, it's your time to tap into Uganda's renewed optimism and tourism growth. Tourism stakeholders, travel trade partners, and tourism enthusiasts will be part of the Poate 2026. Come and network with like-minded people and unlock new business opportunities. To participate, register at www.poate.co.ug. Poate 2026 is brought to you by Uganda Tourism Board and partners.
Step into elegance, step into confidence, step into La Vie Boutique, located at Grand Imperial Hotel, Shop 6 and 8, right behind Bank of Uganda. La Vie Boutique brings you high-class corporate and casual wear for men, from sharp designer suits and crisp shirts to stylish casual t-shirts, tracksuits, shoes and accessories. We've got everything to make you stand out. Call us on 0772 419 181 or 0705 555 558. La Vie Boutique, where class meets style.
So, Muchara.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight, huh? For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later, huh?
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get Momo goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
Are you looking for a home away from home? Then this is the place for you. My name is Chini Kaji, and welcome to Hotel Le Confidential.
With 84 comfortable rooms where you can relax and feel safe. Each room has a lovely view of green vegetation, Wi-Fi, air conditioning, and a tasty breakfast.
Children can have fun at our kids' water park and our kids' play area. You can also enjoy our world-class health club, spa, sauna, gym, boutique, and sky blue swimming pool.
Thank you for choosing Hotel Le Confidential, where every stay is unforgettable. Come and stay in comfort, right at home, today, tomorrow, and always.
In 2024, Uganda recorded 37,000 new HIV infections and 20,000 AIDS-related deaths, a situation that calls for collective efforts if the country is to achieve its target of ending AIDS by 2030.
Somebody infecting another person. So there's no way you can say men cannot be infected, only women can be infected. So from the simple fact that people can infect one another, there's no logic in saying that only women should test. It should be everybody. It's just logical.
Together, we can end AIDS in Uganda. Every second counts. Let's act now. This message is brought to you by Uganda AIDS Commission, Office of the President.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight, broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. PhD supervisors and scholars have appealed to government on funding towards research and development to promote innovation and evidence-based policy making. This was during a PhD research seminar where doctoral researchers presented emerging ideas and discoveries aimed at addressing societal challenges.
The semester was a platform for PhD scholars and supervisors to promote sustainable scientific research that addresses needs of communities, businesses, and science and technology sector. Isbert University Vice-Chancellor K.M. Matthew raised the need to strengthen research activities among scholars.
Today's seminar is a very, very important aspect for strengthening in the PhD progression and interacting with the various collaborative universities and supervisors and scholars from various parts of Uganda.
Scholars, including the Managing Director of Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, Winston Agaba, presented a research highlighting identification of societal gaps and developing practical solutions.
So PhD is a field of knowledge and knowledge that is based on scientific facts. It's not just a gut feel. It is getting out there, doing your research and coming up with factual findings that address a particular cause.
It's exciting in many, many ways because we do it in a more practical manner in the sense that we are able to see specific areas of problems and see how we can transform society through research.
Since for carrying out a research, you are supposed to contribute to knowledge. And so if you go in the field where there are no data, because at the end of the day, after carrying out your research, you are supposed to compare with the other researches that were done before. So the most important thing is the topic first.
This research, I hope to embed technology to enable the blind users navigate both indoor and outdoor. Our research is based on a need. So the objectives of the research, what is the research question? What are we trying to find out? So from the different research areas, I am doing research in transformational management. So how can we identify the gaps and the opportunities in the field of management to improve how management delivers in whatever sector that we are looking at?
The need to transform society through research was emphasized. However, to implement this, Vice Chairperson of the Governing Council and Chairperson of the Quality Assurance and Research Committee at Isbert University, Jose Ayekuru Asimwe, stressed that investment in research and development is key in guiding policy formulation.
Expectation is that you must be a co-creator of knowledge, and therefore the perfection of your research skills becomes mandatory. Because I think government has been intentional in ensuring that they have allocated, resources, particularly to some of our universities, especially the public universities, to carry out research for the purposes of informing policy that then feeds into development.
We've got a committee of research and quality assurance. We've allocated at least 2 or more than 2 supervisors to each graduate student who is going to work with them because research is a journey.
Policymakers to get to know what kind of research is ongoing and also to incorporate it in their policies.
However, participants noted that participants noted that the quality of research output in many institutions is still affected by limited infrastructure and inadequate research equipment, calling for increased government support to strengthen research capacity. Irene Faith Nantongo, Prosi Chontawaile, UBC News.
That brings us to the end of our UBC News Tonight at the 8 o'clock edition. Join us later on at 10 p.m. for another Bulletin. My name is Wadulo Arnold Mark, Dorothy Namuyomba on sign language, and I'm styled by La Vie Boutique on Grand Imperial Hotel, Shop 6 and 8, right behind Bank of Uganda.